through Starhorn Royal Club's first win of the series.
Thank you very much, Riv. And I just want to bounce off that point, chat. With that win by Starhorn Royal Club, not only have they done the unthinkable and taken a game off of Samsung White when everyone was expecting a whitewash, Kola goes 3-0 on Maokai here at Worlds. He pulled it out of semifinals. It was the first pick in their picks and bans. And I had a thought coming into this, is picks and bans a little bit of the only weakness for White, but regardless of that, we'll get to in a second. What a game from Royal Club.
I just want to, before everybody goes like, yeah, Samsung White did some things wrong, Royal Club did some things right. They actually found a way to get into late game with a late game comp, but get to the early game fight, and that's because they mixed up aggression picks with scaling picks. And I really like what they did with Rammus, Braum, and Tristana, having these frontline carries that can actually prevent the target selection from Samsung White. Rammus can taunt people, the Braum shield can block an entire Twitch ultimate. Combine that with the Rise and the Maokai they picked, and they have the late game crowd control in there as well.
Right, and there's so many points here that make so much sense for Royal Club. So back in Game 1 and even in Game 2, the way that Samsung White are actually getting their leads are tower dives. They are ganks and they are very, very smart. In Game 1, they're like, we want Rise in the top lane. Turns out when he has a tier you can dive from, and he dies really easily. Big surprise, of course, to everyone here. Picks up Maokai, way harder to kill as a champion, suddenly very successful, not able to get jumped on. Insec on Rammus, even if he's late to ganks, well, he's got Powerball to show up, turn fights around, and if Insec finds more counter ganks, Dandy loses one of his primary powers in this series, which is snowballing the early game lead, and suddenly you've got the makings of beating the Samsung White strengths and then taking it to late game where you're going to be fine.
I especially like the Braum pick by Zero. I believe it's his first time. And Braum and Yasuo have historically just been the counters to Twitch because he is, in every sense, just a glass immobile cannon. He doesn't get to move as soon as he pops his ulti nearly as much as other AD carries. And the fact that Braum can just sit there and soak up spray and pray, it doesn't pierce past his unbreakable. So he can just sit in the front, soak up spray and pray. And a lot of Twitch's ability to influence teamfights comes through his piercing autos, and the fact that he can hit the backline through the front line. Braum completely negates that, and I think Imp will think twice next game about picking his favorite champion, Twitch.
Well, Monte Cristo, we've talked a lot about the picks. I think that Singed champion pick is one that's questionable, but it's the second time that it's been run into Maokai. It won last time against TSM. What do you think of the picks and the comps and how White played the game out?
Yeah, I think that what they did really well there that was different when we saw the Maokai versus Singed matchup before is that Insect did a better job of controlling vision in the top side jungle because they had very low wave clear. The only way Singed wave clear works is if he's actually dirty farming or proxy farming behind that turret. So as long as you can make him too scared to go back there, you do have this ability to siege down turrets very, very easily. So I also really liked Royal's composition. If we look at the draft as well, I think taking Maokai and then following up by Rise, because one of the things is we also know that Pawn really likes to play Yasuo, and that's going to negate a Yasuo pick in the mid lane too, which is a major threat from him because Rise really does a number against that Yasuo pick. So I actually thought Royal's draft was fantastic here.
All right, let's get to the first replay as we'll get to you in a moment there, Freak. Crepo, talk me through this Dragon fight. I know you were quite excited with how this one played out.
Yeah, if I can only remember exactly what happens here, but we'll roll the clip and we'll find out actually. I think Royal comes out on top here because they basically have these really good fights where they can just stack up CC all over, and then I think the Unbreakable from Zero here is going to completely negate whatever Imp tries to do.
Dandy dies actually right here without doing anything except for Cataclysming Maokai and gives Uzi a way to jump into the fight by giving him that reset.
And this is basically how every single one of these fights is going, and that's what I actually wanted to highlight. Uzi will find a way to stay out of range of Fizz, survive long enough, then jump in or somehow magically get the reset and keep bouncing around. He's playing trampoline with Samsung White, and that's a pretty darn amazing thing to do at the World Finals.
Yeah, Zero as well, right? He actually sets up his own stun. Like, the Unbreakable's on, he's blocking all the Twitch damage. When Unbreakable falls, he's basically already got the stun down, of course. This point was just, of course, a great cleanup for the rest of Samsung White, the 2-on-2 there. I was just caught up with Zero being amazing, so there was still a fight going on. But, yeah, it was a lot of great individual performances. And we're seeing that sort of throughout here. We actually have another clip of Uzi being amazing, of more great team fights from Royal Club. And Uzi especially has impressed me so much overall. He's basically zeroing in on taking down Pawn. There was an earlier fight where he 1v1s him, forced him out of the battle, then comes back to join the fight. Does the same thing here. If you can roll the clip out, I want you guys to watch Zero, how he survives, and Uzi, how he managed to clean up this fight. So Zero's like, oh crap, I'm caught, oh no, but he basically flashes away, puts the Unbreakable up, stuns up the entire team, and actually buys time, and Pawn is super screwed. gets knocked away from the Lantern. Uzi's on the chase, burns his flash to get away, but that's fine. He's going to reset back in. This shield doesn't even matter. Then at this point, this is okay because you're going to have so much damage out. Unbreakable has still stopped all of his damage, and it's just purely cleanup crew for Uzi.
Something small I want to highlight here is how the way Zero handled that fight. He gets caught, puts up Unbreakable, flashes out immediately, and as the fish is about to pop out of the ground, that's when he pops Unbreakable. He basically channels that cost time as he's being knocked up, gives him enough time to slow down the enemy team, get out of the team, and then right as he's dying, he pops Face of the Mount on himself, and later he comes back into the fight to do work. He's playing Braum at a really high level, even in laning phase. He always made the right decision given where his lane was, and I'm just impressed by his Braum play.
I think fairly unanimously the desk agreed that if Royal Club could make it to late and punish a mistake from White, that was really their chance to win this series. Monte Cristo, Royal still had mistakes. Despite getting the 4-4, despite getting the Baron, they overcommitted, didn't go with the super minions. What do you think when you look at that game? Is this just going to be a 3-1 in the next one, or is this Royal Club again? If they survive, they're into the shot.
It's probably going to be a 3-1 in the next one, just because we've seen these two very one-sided victories, and now we got a little bit closer in this one. And of course, there were still mistakes even when White was trying to capitalize. And for the first time, we may see White try something other than Twitch, as Doublelift was saying. This was Zero's first game on Braum, so now they know they have an answer. In fact, I think we may see the Tristana and Twitch like swap hands in the next game, just so White has a better feeling about what Royal's going to do and try and bait him into it instead.
And I think specifically on Royal's side, they need to find other lane gankers for Insect. You can't vision control inside someone else's lane, like behind their turret. So if you can find, you know, a Moby Boots, something like a Rammus, then Insect gets to keep getting those counter ganks, and Dandy has to always be afraid that he's going to get 2 for 0'd.
Yeah, we'll have to find out 3-0 on those unique pocket picks, as Jat put it. Guys, we're going to check in with another Coke Zero viewing party, this time in Seattle, Washington, at the Cinemark Lincoln Square Cinema. There's going to be a couple of excited fans waiting in line with their host, actually Sky Williams. What's up? Bear, I think is his word. Catching some swag in between games. We hope all of you guys out there are enjoying these World Final games, no matter how or where you are watching them from, especially considering Royal Club has taken us to game number 4. After this quick break with Samsung White and Starhorn Royal Club battling it out to determine our world champions, we'll find out if they're going to make it happen.
It will give Uzi the reset to jump over the top. Next target will be Pawn. He won't fall here. Currently a 2 for 1, but that will be quickly made 3. Gonna go low. Last second, Sonya. Oh, here comes the cleanup team. Oh my God! The flash over. Uzi will get it. He's gonna go towards him. Double kill down for Uzi.
And that's going to be Cataclysm down on Nicola, but he's already mitigating the damage with Vengeful Maelstrom. Uzi's in the back. Can he get in? It's already down.
They still have Pawn dancing around in this one. That's 2 kills over to Samsung White. Uzi is still there. There is Uzi to get the double. Will jump